Hackers ruined the Roblox event in Tower Defense Simulator. Let me explain. So as we know, the Roblox event in Tower Defense Simulator, there is a mega edition for the mega token hunt for Roblox where you go up to the computer, you type in a word, or 2 words actually, Roblox Falls, no, Redcliffe Falls, and then you activate the mega game mode for the event. Now, while this is kind of unique for Tower Defense Simulator in terms of like Roblox sponsorship stuff, I mean, apart from the fact that we got this nearly exact same thing for the Winter Spotlight thing, I will say that other than the Winter Spotlight thing, stuff like this in Tower Defense Simulator where you have to interact with other stuff before you play a game is kind of new. For example, Mess vs Champions, all you had to do was talk to AJ Striker. However, there were plans to be more elaborate about it, but I think the supercomputer thing, where the Redcliffe Falls thing was typed into it, may have been originally part of the original quest anyways, or it could have been a new thing because of recent things that happened. Now, fun fact, Tyler actually told me about this, so we'll go hunting for it. That somewhere in this lobby there was actually a clue for the Redcliffe Falls code, and no, I'm not talking about the commander. Okay, so lining up with what Tyler showed me, it looks like the Redcliffe shield should have been around here, but it doesn't appear for me, so it looks like it's activated if you get the mega token or not. I can only confirm after I get it. The problem is I already have gotten it, so I can't confirm it, but I think it looks like it should be here, because this is what Tyler showed me. Looking at this screenshot here, you see a leaf over the shield, a greyish wall here, and then a brick wall here with some sand in the bottom. And if you go to my game here, it kind of looks similar to this, but I can't see any shield here. So I think this is the original spot for the shield, so it's here, by the way, near the experience leaderboards. But it doesn't appear here for me because I think I already claimed the mega token. Anyways, that is the actually only clue for the Redcliffe Falls code that you need to type into the supercomputer. I think you're meant to realize that Tower Defense Simulator was the next game after, I don't even know what the game's called, like Elevator something, after you could interact with the supercomputer, given the fact that the supercomputer in the past, in the hardcore lobby, has revealed some secrets before, aka the hidden wave. Now, people have said that the commander here, pointing here, actually is another leak for the Redcliffe code, because this symbol here is an upside down version of the Redcliffe shield that is seen over there when you're about to activate the mega token game mode thing. However, this is not actually the case. I believe this is just a red herring. Yes, the commander points towards the crate section here, but it doesn't point exactly towards the supercomputer. I feel like the commander used to be part of like a bigger quest for this Redcliffe thing. That's why it has a symbol on top of its hat, but no longer the case. However, the one other thing that was originally meant to be part of this event, and I know was originally part of this event, was the code that appeared on the portal. If you ask me, there will be something to do with the commander statue with the Redcliffe logo. You have to do some quest involving it, activating it, or interacting with it. Then, you probably had to do something with this portal code thing, which spells out survives. It is confirmed it spells out survives because there is a missing V on the back, and it doesn't spell out viruses or something like that. However, this code is actually unused, and in fact, because it was never removed, it's actually a red herring. Now, Tyler did say to me that originally these clues, the commander clue and the portal clue here, weren't originally red herrings, and also this duck here is an Easter egg. I don't think it was ever a clue for the Roblox event, and I don't think the car in the hunt event was also meant to be a red herring clue. I'm not entirely sure about that because it gets rebuilt on Wave 3. It might have been an original like quest involving the mega hunt, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, because it's going to be lost media, purely because people decided to leak it early. Yeah, so in case you didn't know, hackers tend to like Tower Defense Simulator. I don't know why, but Tower Defense Simulator seems to be the target of hackers. Now, this is an issue when the quest on Roblox involves $1 million. Now, I'll probably get into this later because there is my story, how I nearly got Tower Defense Simulator kicked out of the hunt. But because there were data miners, as Tyler addressed it to me, data miners / hackers who were basically data mining Tower Defense Simulator for like clues in the hunt, the developers had to like change up the quests for the mega hunt, which is why we only got the computer which you had to type in Redcliffe Falls into it. Now, if you see other quests in the mega hunt, you'll notice that their hunts to activating like the main boss fight. For example, in Arsenal, you activate stuff to get that Pokemon building or the Pokemon gameplay. In, I believe, World Zero? No, there's like a whole elaborate code that you had to plan out In Pressure, you had to do the whole radio thing. In loads of other games where you wouldn't expect a boss fight, there were boss fights. Even in like some high school game, which I don't know what the name is, like Bay School High or whatever. But the activation methods to actually get it were quite elaborate. Meanwhile, in Tower Defense Simulator, all you had to do was type in a code. Now, I suspect that the code was like meant to be in the run-up to something else, or the code was actually just generated randomly after data miners actually leaked the entire event. Hackers targeted Tower Defense Simulator and leaked a lot of stuff, including that portal. I remember this. The hackers had leaked this portal publicly to public Tower Defense Simulator discords, including the TDS wiki, which kind of ruined the whole event because, well, now Tower Defense Simulator would be very easy to get, which is not the main point of the Mega Hunt. Therefore, developers had to scrap the idea of using the portal code as like a part of a clue, and therefore meant that the portal clue here was actually just a red herring. Originally, it was not meant to be a red herring, but because of hackers and because of data miners, it was a red herring, and the developers had to change up the Mega Hunt. So yes, the hackers ruined Tower Defense Simulator Mega Edition. Now, I believe I can leak this, given the fact that the Mega Token was actually leaked in Tower Defense. Well, not leaked, but people have gotten the Mega Token in Tower Defense Simulator. But originally, you can see here, there was like a riddle that you must play, which was actually leaked when the game was actually first added. However, data miners had previously found the riddle previously before the Mega Token was actually activated in Tower Defense Simulator, which with this Roblox event, Mega Tokens are activated like every 2 days or something, and every batch of game is actually activated alongside that. So not only did you have to like activate the stuff in the hub, the hunt hub, you also had to wait, which is why even if you solved the riddle, even if the data miners had the riddle, which they probably did have the riddle at the time, this is why developers had to change it, because it would give those hackers an unfair advantage, and Roblox would have likely kicked out Tower Defense Simulator. I mean, they would have likely kicked out Tower Defense Simulator had my video lasted like another hour on YouTube, but we'll get to that later. This is why there were so, well, I wouldn't say there's so many red herrings. There were like 3 or 4-ish red herrings in Tower Defense Simulator. But there originally was meant to be like a better riddle, like Redcliffe Falls. I don't think that's a riddle. That's more just something that you had to put into a computer. But I assumed that it was a more elaborate quest in Tower Defense Simulator, The Hunt, which involves the commander statue, it involves the code on the portal, it involves the riddle, a riddle, I don't know what the riddles could be, and possibly the supercomputer for the Redcliffe Falls code that you have to put in. I don't know. Furthermore, this has nothing to do with the Core Blocks code badge. The Core Blocks code badge is a red herring badge. That is actually the only red herring that was actually planned. Because in case you didn't know, there were a couple of red herring badges that were made by developers of all games. As you can see here in Fish and in Rivals, you can see red herring badges. Even though some people have got it, but because of data miners, aka stuff that targeted Tower Defense Simulator, they had to make fake badges to make the hunt less like easy, basically. So you can even see in Untitled Tag Game, you can see Find the HQ and Ethereal Exit. These were the fake badges, whereas Containment Breach was the real badge. I'd probably say next time, Roblox, for your future events, make sure that the badge that actually awards the Mega Token isn't the first badge, because in case you didn't realize, the first badge is the badge that actually rewards the Mega Token all the time. Even for Tower Defense Simulator, look, Sigil of the Deathwalker was here, Abyssal Echoes in Fish here, and then Untitled Tag Game, Containment Breach here. Meanwhile, the Core Blocks code was a red herring badge, and the 9 people who have it, I believe, are developers or testers. Likely developers, and which is why you cannot get the Core Blocks code. People have complained that they shouldn't have a red herring badge on the game page because you can't get it. Guys, do you not realise that the reason why this badge here, and probably Defeated the Brute here, were badges is because Roblox probably asked them to have red herring badges to throw people off the hunt. And I'm purely speculating here. This is 100% speculation. Developers can correct me on this. Roblox can correct me on this. Testers can correct me on this. But I think there is a chance that because the hackers had like hacked the game, data mined the game, found like riddles and like quests, the original quest for the Mega Hunt in Tower Defense Simulator, I think what the developers had to do was like come up with a new event or a new quest for the Mega Hunt, which therefore meant that Tower Defense Simulator had to be pushed back in the pecking order for when you had to achieve the badges. Therefore, there is every chance that if the hackers didn't hack the game and just allowed the quest to continue, or just didn't even find the quest in the first place, there's every chance that Tower Defense Simulator may not be in the 20th game you had to complete, maybe in the 6th, maybe in the 7th. But then, because the developers had to come up with a new idea, Roblox was like, okay, we're going to have to push you back to like the last set, because Roblox's Tower Defense Simulator is in the last set 4 of the games that were released. Because apparently there were some updates previously which kind of activated like mega hunt stuff, including activating the code on the portal, which is why I speculate that Tower Defense Simulator may have not originally been the 20th game, but because of the things that happened with hackers, it was probably pushed from like its original position, which may have been 6th or 7th or 8th, maybe even 13th to 20th. So there's every chance that the Roblox Hunter name tag would have been easier to get for players had hackers not hacked the game. Now, this is purely speculation. I don't know. I don't want people coming after hackers. I have no sympathy for hackers, but obviously don't go sending death threats to them. But that's me just speculating the chances of the hackers actually ruining completely the hunt event in Tower Defense Simulator. Who knows? I still have to make my video on how I nearly got Tower Defense Simulator kicked out of the hunt. But, well, that's another time. I mean, I don't know how likely this theory is, given the fact that there is another theory that I have, that Tower Defense Simulator was put into the last block of games because it's a popular game. That, and alongside Pet Simulator X, so people who just play Tower Defense Simulator, which is actually quite a few people, and just play Pet Simulator X, popular games really, they are put into the last block for whatever exclusive stuff that they have in those games. You are forced to play all the other games in the hunt to get the quests for the most popular games. I don't know how true that is, but that's just me speculating out of my arse. Developers and Roblox can kindly correct me on that.